Hey there, everyone. Today we are in conversation with Shakti Ambani. She has over 9 years of experience in fashion industry, from retail to agencies to boutiques, from assisting celebrity stylists and designers. So you will get to learn a lot of things today. So let's get started. Hey Shakti, welcome to my video. I don't have a name for this talk show yet, but I'm sure this will help a lot of fashion designers, stylists, or whoever wants to make a career into fashion industry. And as you have 9 years of experience, I'm sure you have some insights that will help the younger generation, younger people who are trying to make a career in the fashion industry. To start with,
Definitely.
to start with, Shakti, tell me, how did you start your fashion journey? When did you think of getting into fashion?
So, as a kid, I was always into dressing up dolls and playing dress up games. So it was, I think, in my blood. Fashion was something I was always interested into. So I began my career starting from 2011 is when I decided to pursue my career into fashion designing, and that is when I started my research from where to do and where to start my career from.
Okay, so did you do a course or did you just directly jump into looking for a job?
So, of course, I definitely went through courses of fashion designing, and I did shortlist few institute, and I did my research on where to go, what to do, how to pursue my career from. And there was this institute I started my designing from, and it was a 1 year course that I did into designing.
So, as I know you personally, so I know how your journey is in fashion. But for the viewers, would you like to say that how a fashion designer, started her journey and become a manager?
So, right after I finished my course, through an campus interview, I got selected for a retail brand. And I worked there for a year, took a good experience of retail industry. It was a premium brand that I was working with. When I started my career into retail and when I was pursuing that particular job is when I realized that retail is something that won't interest me. So after taking a year of experience, I planned to jump into another industry, into fashion, but a different category. So before I move ahead, let me just mention something about fashion industry. So when I started my course back then, there was no guidance in terms of, because there was no one in my family who would belong to fashion industries. So there was lack of guidance. And also through the institute, there was no guidance properly given to me in terms of, fashion is a vast industry. There's visual merchandising, there's
Correct.
designing, there's styling, and there are many more categories that I can add to fashion. Now, institute is not going to guide you, so it's better that if if today's generation, if someone is planning to do fashion, get all the facts clear, understand what fashion industry is about, and I would suggest to take that particular course instead of doing a standard course that everyone was jumping into. Let's do fashion designing. But when I moved to retail is when I realized that fashion designing is fashion is a huge industry.
Right.
So it's really important to understand which category interests you the most. Like in my case, retail was not something that I was made for. And that is when I decided to move out of retail and try some other categories. So that is when I decided to, what was my next
That's
jump?
okay. But what I feel is, Shakti, like in your answer, you said you took fashion designing and then you tried retail. So, was there a reason why from fashion designing you thought of doing a year experience in retail to understand that? Why did you decide to do that?
As I mentioned, I was not clear. I didn't have a clear idea of which area into fashion would interest me. And the first opportunity that I got, I thought of grabbing that opportunity and understanding what it would be like instead of missing out on that. So I took that opportunity. I got to learn about that industry, and that is how I decided to explore other areas of fashion.
Right. So, do you think, Shakti, कि एक कोर्स हो जाने के बाद, a lot of students, they are lost. उन्हें पता नहीं होता है कि कोर्स खत्म होने के बाद अब क्या करे, रिटेल में जाए, स्टाइलिंग करे, डिजाइनिंग करे, या जो कोर्स किया है उसके हिसाब से अपॉर्चुनिटीज ढूंढे. तो do you think the kids are lost in a way, that which direction to go for, or you know whom to ask for help?
Absolutely. Kids are definitely lost, and since there's lack of guidance, they definitely don't know which category to go to. So this is something that they should research into and understand what are the categories and what interests them the most.
Right.
And that is after that they should go for any particular course instead of doing a standard course of fashion designing.
Right.
So yes, that was the mistake that I made back then.
I think
But
9 years,
I'm
10 years back, we did not have social media in that peak wherein we could do our own research and decide for ourselves that what is best for us. And I think even I did not get that guidance of, what should I do with my, journey in fashion. So, do you think a lot of
right.
youngsters get influenced with the glitz and glam that they see on social media, that they see in media, and then they think, oh, let me get into fashion?
Definitely, they do get influenced. They think this is all about glamour, but since on social media, the amount of effort that goes into it is not shown, it's never disclosed. So the generation is not getting an idea about this plenty and humongous amount of effort that goes into it.
Right.
So that is something that needs to be highlighted and made aware, that needs to be made. The awareness needs to be done.
So after retail, what did you do next?
I got an opportunity to work as an assistant designer for a TV series. Uh, that was again a good amount of experience that I got from that particular opportunity as well. It was more about on a daily basis, you get to meet all the celebrities and understand how uh, fashion is so different for a TV series. And coming back to assistant designer, so I got to know the designing part of fashion, which
Right.
was again a new category for me. I got an opportunity to explore that category as well.
Right.
Um, so I was as an assistant designer. I worked for like a year over there as well, and the experience was really great. And that is when I decided to work for a boutique, and luckily got an opportunity. And I was hired as a boutique designer, where on a daily basis I used to handle clients, and there were assistants under me, and we were running a boutique. This was more about a fashion boutique which was catering to all the locals and not the celebrities. It can be anyone. The boutique was majorly into wedding wears, casual wears, formal wears. So they were designing all category of the fashion. So I got to explore a lot more and had a different learnings over here than an assistant designer.
So what was
And
the
it was really
learning?
lovely.
Sorry.
Sorry.
What was the different learning, that assisting a designer was different than working in a boutique was different? So what was your learning in difference from both the experience?
So learning over here was I was the face of the boutique. I got to coordinate directly with the client, and I got to uh, uh, I got an opportunity to deal with the client's requirement and how there are so many different type of clients in the market. Everyone has a different requirement, and I got to design all type of garments from Catholic gowns to Indian lehengas to formal wear to casual wear. So I got to explore and design all categories of the garments, like from streetwear to office wear to wedding wear.
Right. And you said that you did a fashion designing course. So you never thought of having your own brand after, so much experience from retail, from assisting a designer in TV series, then working in a boutique. You never thought of having your own brand?
Definitely. The very first day of my fashion course, I was like, I'm gonna have my own brand, I'll have my own boutique, and I'll go to Lakme. So, of course, that thought was always there. And unfortunately, when I faced the reality of the fashion, I realized that there's a lot of finance that goes into it, and unfortunately back then it was not possible for me to have my launch my own brand, so I stuck to doing a job, and maybe a later I thought I might have my own brand.
Right. Like, I'm sure when people join a fashion designing course, they think of designing outfits for celebrities, showcasing their collection in Lakme Fashion Week on any other runway. And so, when you talk about finance, what are the things a youngster have to keep in mind when they think about opening their own brand?
आई मीन हाँ, आपको सब ध्यान रखना पड़ता है, जैसे आपको रेंट पे जगह लेनी पड़ती है, उसके बाद आपको लोकेशन डिसाइड करना पड़ता है कि कौन सा लोकेशन पे कैसा क्राउड आपको केटर करना है, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स आपको ये भी नॉलेज रखना है कि फ्रॉम वेयर टू सोर्स द बेस्ट ऑफ द टेलर्स एंड हायर देम your machineries, and then there'll be assistants under you who can help you to design your garments, help you to help you for the sales as well. So there are multiple aspects into finance that goes into it.
Right. And how difficult is it when dealing with customers? I'm sure you must have dealt with rude, nice, excellent customers.
Of course. So no two people are same. So
Right.
of course I did come across multiple customers, and right now, since I'm so used to handling sales, so it seems easier. But yes, बहुत बहुत टाइप के कस्टमर्स होते हैं जिनको आपको फेस करना होता है. Patience, you learn how to be patient with them, and uh, it's all up to developing your sales skills, and eventually it's all about developing a sales.
Right. So after the boutique, what was your next exposure?
After the boutique, of course, like you said, like you asked me about my brand, yes, I did try, and so yes, I did start my own boutique after gaining so many years of experience. I did have my own setup, and it went really well. I It was a bespoke boutique, and it was catering to all kind of um, categories in terms of wedding wear, casual wear, formal wear. Initially, it went really well, but with time, I just realized that it is demanding more finances. And for me, it was difficult to sustain in that particular market. And which is why I had to shut my own business of fashion
Okay.
and move back to 9 to 6
Sure.
job.
Okay. So when you said it was difficult to keep up with finances, you mean the rent of the place, then the electricity bill, the salary of the tailors, all of that considering it was a little difficult for you. That's what you mean?
यस, यस, सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आती है आपको रेंट देने में, सबकी सैलरीज़ देनी होती है। सो plus the market competition, like every nook and corner has a fashion boutique. So to sustain that was getting difficult.
Right, understandable.
So with responsibilities, you it gets very difficult to maintain and have a balance. So
Correct.
which is why I had to eventually shut and get back to my old job. Of course, this time I decided to explore another category of fashion, and I never wanted to move out of fashion because it was just there in me. So, which is why I decided to move out.
Okay. So what was your next step after this?
So next step was quite a big step and quite interesting and amazing. I got this opportunity through a friend who used to work with me in a retail, and she came across, she called me one fine day and she's like, would you be interested in taking up a fashion stylist job? I'm like, I would love to explore that industry. And it was at a single yes, and immediately I went for an interview rounds and got selected. And it was 2015 when I started this fashion stylist job at a studio which was on an international level. So the kind of learning and the exposure was really amazing.
So after you joined as a stylist over there, then how was your journey in that company?
So talking about the current organization that I'm working in, yes, I started as a styling job over here, and this was little different than what people do outside because this was more for an online portal, an e-commerce company. So over here, the additional knowledge that I gained was how the overall imagery should look good, from head makeup to the outfit to the accessories, the entire pose of the model, entire imagery, how to make it look good was the challenge. And with time, I got to learn that. Yes, after a year, I got promoted as a studio manager, and I was lucky enough to get this opportunity where I was handling a team, e-commerce team over here.
All right. So, in your entire journey from starting as an a retail person to a studio manager, what do you think that what are the key elements a person should have to grow in the fashion industry?
So in my 9 years of fashion career, what I have learned is that the art and this fashion field is just comprises 10 to 20% of you. The rest, 80% is about your communication skills, your management skills, your handling finances, and your sales skills, basically. It's more about that.
Right. So you're saying that only 20% is the art and the trend and the knowledge of the creative side of this industry. Rest 80% is about management, communication, finances, selling, negotiation. So, Shakti, what would be your last message to the to the younger people who want to make a career in fashion? What would be your last message, an important message that this is what you should look for, you have to be patient for, or what would be your final message to the viewers?
So, my message to the younger generation would be firstly, do your research thoroughly, understand what fashion industry is about. It's a vast industry. Understand what it is about, what interests you the most, what are your capabilities, and lastly, how you want to achieve that.
Correct. So I think with this message, we come to an end with the session. I think there was quite some insightful, details that our viewers can definitely learn and inculcate. And if our viewers have more questions and if they want to know in detail about any of the topics, then we will definitely join back and give them more insights, deeper insights on these particular topics.
Sure, would love to.
It was great talking to you, Shakti.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. All the very best to you. Hope we get great responses on this particular activity that we've done today. And let's see what the youth has to ask us.
Definitely. Loved having you here.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions that you want to know more about, drop in your comments in the comment section and we will try and answer all of them. And if required, we will make another video so that you have deeper knowledge on this topic. And don't forget to share this with your friends because even they need certain insights to grow in their career. Thank you again.